go.
Let me try that again. Can somebody let me know that we're all hunky-dory? Are we all going? Are we live? Are we live? I think we probably are by now.
Okay, let's go.
Still can't get the music to play, which is a bit of a concern. Oh dear. Mike is not on, says Gary Muirhead. It is. Ken Hatter is saying, okay now. Right, okay. I have no music coming through my headphones, which is a bit of a worry, but good morning. I'll tell you what, let me do it verbally rather than trying to press buttons, because we appear to have the gremlins back again. Good morning to Dan Cullen, to Mark Whiting, to Gary Muirhead, to Graham Footy Williams, Glenn Johnston, Chris Ford, Ken Hatcher, Jim Turner. Good morning. Good morning, one and all. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Hope you're all fit and well. Don't know how it felt with you, but I kind of blinked and missed the entire weekend. By the time I'd run the usual errands, back to work again with barely a moment to rest. However, we do get a long weekend next week, so we have that to look forward to. And Chris Ford very kindly saying, good morning to the gremlins. Yes, they are here in abundance, apparently. Yes, just to remind you, by popular demand, I will be here on Friday this week, even though it's a holiday, but I will not be here this time next week because, well, I'd like to take advantage of the bank holiday, if that's okay with you. Just to remind myself what the family actually looks like. Now, of course, today is Monday, which means there is a new article that has dropped, despite all that's going on in the world and in the industry. This one is actually quite upbeat and positive, which is not like me at all. It's called I Have Seen the Future, and you can read it. Yeah, you can read it using the links that I'm just about to post in the chat. Let's hope and pray that that system works. Yes, apparently that system works, even though the music for some reason is not. Don't know what's going on with that. If you're in our WhatsApp group, no need to make notes of URLs or anything like that. The link to the article is already in the chat, just waiting for your eyeballs. Now, without further ado, let me roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road, assuming that everything else is working. It may be just my sound this morning. So let's get that intro up right now. Yeah, after a bit of a full start, it is Monday, the 25th of March. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, we're going to get up close with the new JCB 370X tracked excavator, and I would very much like you to tell me whether you believe it to be hot or not. Now you're going to see it up close and personal. We're also going to get up close with the new Hitachi ZX95W-7, the wheeled excavator. We're taking a demolition flyby with Hughes and Salvidge. Make sure you look both ways because the Wacker Neuson Dual View dumper is headed this way. And ahead of Intermat 2024, we're hoping and praying that those fine folks at Volvo will be bringing a demolition beauty with them. I'll show you that at the end of the show. But before we get to any of that or all of that, we're going to pause a while so that you can try to identify our mystery machine, which comes up right after this. Now, I can tell you that today's mystery machine is very specific. In fact, I'm pretty sure you'll get the name of the manufacturer in the first couple of slides, actually. But I'm looking for a very specific model number today. So this is what you have to work with. Tells you virtually nothing, I would have thought. But that's what you've got to work with. Just going to say a very quick good morning to our friend Mick, who says, happy days, just got the road closure, map for the marathon, another bloody shutdown for the Isle of Dogs. But think of the pomp and ceremony that goes with that. I would imagine, well, bearing in mind, I live in Epsom, so once a year we get basically inundated. Our roads are a no-go zone for the Epsom Derby, so I can feel your pain, Mick. Lots of suggestions on our mystery machine coming through, and I can tell you none of them are correct. None of them are correct. I'll come back to that in just a moment. But before we get to the next bit, should I remind you of our question of the day, because I'm actually quite proud of this one. Yeah, our question of the day is this. What movie prop would you most like to own? I'm not necessarily talking costumes here, although I do think Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man suit would look really good in the background of this show. But things like, I don't know, Gene Kelly's umbrella from Singing in the Rain, Al Pacino's machine gun from Scarface. What about you? What movie prop would you most like to own? And possibly why? Let me know. Give it some thought. Let us know in the chat. While you're doing that, let's have some of this. Okay, people. Well, last week we gave you a sneak peek, but now it's time to take a closer look at the all-new JCB 370X, the latest and largest addition to the JCB X series. Here to take you around the machine is product specialist Paul Swallow. And while Paul is taking you through or talking us through the 370X, perhaps you'd care to decide whether you think the new JCB machine, is hot or not. That's quite a large file, so I'm going to dredge this off my hard drive, and I'm doing that literally as we speak.
Swallow, and I'm the business head for JCB Excavators. .370X. So JCB are proud to introduce today our brand new 37-ton excavator, the 370X, which has been tested to extremes. So there's 3 key messages on this machine: productivity and efficiency, ensuring a good styling, that X series DNA styling, a bit about being rugged and refined. And also, we've also made further improvement to the X series cabins with the brand new JCB UX interface. So then the main 3 things on the new 370X. So tested to extremes is basically, we know that 37-ton excavators are going to be working a hard life in the most arduous of applications. So this project has been over numerous years, thousands of hours of testing, working from customers under NDA at the very start, making sure the specification meets their specific requirements. So it's all about testing and testing and testing and testing to make sure the 37-ton delivers in the customer's applications of whether it be quarrying, infrastructure projects, or pipeline applications in America. So we've been obsessed with testing, and we'll keep saying it all throughout the day, I'm afraid. So it's not just a JS that's been updated, it's a complete new design. Of course, we've been on the X Series journey for a few years, so we've tried to take the best features of the X Series and the 20-tonner and apply it where applicable. So for example, the cabin environment, it's the same cabin, but with the updates as well. But yeah, it's a completely new design, new undercarriage design, a bigger engine, so an 8.9 litre Cummins engine, bigger pump, etc, etc. So there's a complete overhaul of the machine, and yeah, we're very pleased with the productivity and efficiency, and we hope our customers will be as well. Our operators really seem to enjoy our operating environment. We sometimes use the phrase a luxury office environment, but at JCB, as you've heard, we're always looking for a better way, and one thing we wanted to do is how do we keep pushing the boundaries and how can we further improve our cabin environment. So what we've introduced now on the 370X is a brand new 10-inch monitor, controllable by the rotary dial and also for the touch screen. And we've also listened to customers as well, as they like the hotkey customization. So we've now given them more opportunity to customize even more, configure the machine exactly how they want it. So it's designed about ease of use, customization, and ultimately comfort. So we're pleased with that upgrade, and hopefully our customers will really like the new monitor as well. We've spoken to all types of 35 to 40 ton customers, and that's why we're offering a variety of different specifications. So the machine directly behind me here is got our double browser tracks, as I said, quarrying applications. But we've also got machines designed as well for infrastructure projects, whether it's loading ADTs, whether it's pipe laying applications, whether it's lifting applications. So all wide variety of specifications as well, and we're offering all those features from JCB. The order bank is open, so if you're interested, get in touch with your local dealer and yeah, speak to them.
So, people, I'll tell you what, I'll come back to the chat in just a second. I'm going to say good morning to our friend Tristan Mays over on Instagram, who is about to commute for 12 hours to Nigeria. Rather you than me, my friend. Rather you than me. Couple of people saying that the new JCB 370X is hot. There's one of them. That's Dan Cullen. Thank you very much indeed for that, Dan. I agree. Ken Hatcher also saying hot as well. Let's have a look. Gary Muirhead has just said, where will they be built? Do you know, I didn't even ask the question. My assumption is that they will be built right here in the UK. I would guess at the JCB heavy equipment plant, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me ask the question because I'm speaking to them on an ongoing basis. Chris Ford says hot from personal experience. Yes, Chris was actually up with JCB on Friday last week and probably got to take that 370X for a spin. And if he's saying it's hot, that's good enough for me. Glenn Johnston, good morning, Glenn, also saying it's hot. Adrian Rogers, hot. I think it's fairly unanimous. I'm going to say this from Footy though. Down the top half, brilliantly. What about the undercarriage where you've got to get in all the time? Do something with that stupid step which gets covered in crap, then you slide off. You can't have 3 points of contact all the time because you can't get in. Well, listen, we're all different people, but I was in and out of that machine, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 10 times. Not a problem. 3 points of contact all the way, mainly because I'm concerned about falling on my rear end in front of all my fellow members of the press who were all armed with cameras and who would take enormous delight in that. But I got in and out of the 370X without an issue. And I have to say, just thinking about it, because you've made me do that, one of the issues that I have with some excavators, particularly the bigger ones, I find, is that the step literally under the top of the tracks, you can't, you know how you do that kind of feeling around with your foot trying to find where it is? Not an issue on the 370X. Found it first time, not a problem at all. Footy does say though, step full of crap, you get the slide off every time you put on your foot on it. It is true. It is true. Some steps do collect a lot of crap, and because you've got a step between the top and the bottom of the undercarriage, you are going to get some crap there. But as I say, last week it was boggy as a bog at JCB's Kevin Quarry last week. Not a problem getting in and out. Not a problem with crap on the tracks at all. Dan Cullen says, Graham is so right. All excavators are the same. You would think something foldy out. Not exactly hard, would it be? Pivot Plant Hire has just joined us over on Instagram. Good morning to you, Pivot Plant Hire. Pivotal Plant Hire, should I say. Can't read. Haven't seen you here before, but jolly nice to see you all here. I think we've all agreed, by and large, that the 370X is hot, and we'll be going forward to our grand final in December, whenever I decide to do that. Jim Turner's just joined us. The X-Series cab is nice. Bit tight for legroom in the 140, though, but the absolute pain in this X-Series is the bottom paddle that pumps the seat up and down. The button paddle that pumps the seat up and down. It sticks out way too far. I'm sick of catching the back of my legs on it and accidentally lowering the seat down. You see, it's little things like that that you only notice in the field. Didn't have a problem with that in the 370X. As I say, I was in and out of it quite a bit. But I am quite clumsy, so I am quite careful at the same time. So maybe that's just me. Now, just in case you weren't here at the beginning of the show, very quick reminder, and I will repost it actually. This week's column is actually related to JCB as well. Although it's not about machines. This time it's about people, JCB people. More specifically, it's about young JCB people. I've deliberately and strategically written it on LinkedIn. Oh, do excuse me. because that is exactly where the people in the article actually reside. But it is basically me tipping my hat to Georgina Williams, to Tom Shipton, who was one of the people that took me around the 370X, and to Ollie Sands, who took me around the Raptor the Raptor tilt rotator, which I will be showing you later in the week. So please go take a look at the article. Let me know what you think. Remarkably upbeat for me. I think you'll agree. I won't be doing that again anytime soon, I'm sure. Now, how about we have just a smidgen of, when I can find the right button, a smidgen of this.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Right, okay, Instagram's playing silly buggers, but it's back online again. Now, we've just seen one excavator. How about another one? Whether it's on tracks or wheels, a new excavator from Hitachi is always a big deal. So when we saw that the company had dropped another new and improved model, well, couldn't wait to share it with you. Basically, this, when I can find the right button, this is the Hitachi ZX95W-7. To you, a duck.
I'd like to announce a re-entry into the class of compact excavators with our new 9-ton ZX95W-7 designed to put you in control. If you're a business owner, we've considered the challenges you face. And for operators, we've focused on your experience in the cab. In addition, I would like to show how we can support you over the life cycle of your Hitachi machine. So let's start by highlighting how you can take control of your business with Hitachi's Stage 5 compliant ZX 7 compact wheeled excavator. You can increase profits by working on a wider range of projects thanks to the versatility of the ZX95W-7. Its compact size and short turning radius allow it to work efficiently and safely in confined areas. The two-piece boom in combination with the swing boom makes it a perfect match for every job site. The usage of hydraulic quick couplers is fully supported as quick coupler piping comes as standard. The optional tilt rotator preparation further enhances its versatility. In addition, the ZX95W-7 is exceptionally agile thanks to the choice of four-wheel steering. It also offers excellent lifting capacity, which can be increased with an additional counterweight to deliver even higher levels of productivity. Moving into the cab, let's explore how you can take control of your comfort. As you can see, it is the perfect working environment. Ultra spacious, it's easy to enter and exit comfortably. It offers the ultimate in quality, with air conditioning and air suspension seat included as standard. Easy operation comes from the intuitive controls, which are within easy reach. You can configure the buttons on the right and left-hand joysticks to personalize the machine to your preference. And you can sit comfortably thanks to the steering column, which is adjustable in various ways. So how does the ZX95W put you in control of your safety? By ensuring a high level of visibility, the cab offers a superior view of the job site to protect the operator and the machine from potential hazards. Visibility is boosted by the rear view camera and the optional side view camera. And furthermore, the small steering wheel ensures you have a clear view through the front window. The ZX95W-7 has a blade positioned on the rear of the undercarriage as standard, and for added stability, independently operating outriggers are available as option. In addition, the axle-lock switch on the joystick can be used when you need it. And finally, the location of the refueling hose makes it safe and easy to fill up with fuel. The ZX95W is built to last, which means that you're in control of your expenditure on repairs, service and maintenance due to its incredible durability. Hitachi offers a wide range of after-sales services,
such as genuine parts and attachments, to help you feel in total control of your Hitachi 7 wheeled excavator. And with Hitachi's premium rental program, you have the flexibility to extend your fleet. So with the new ZX95W-7 wheeled excavator, you can create your ideal environment in the cab, create your business's success story with improved profit, and work in partnership with Hitachi to create your vision.
Well, that freaked out a little bit. Oh, good, lots of good chat this morning. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let's have a look. Now, I wasn't actually planning to ask you whether you believe the Hitachi was hot or not, but a few people have said it is. There's Dan Cullen saying, lovely little machine with two-piece boom, very beneficial. Footy is saying, hot. Let's have a look. Chris Ford saying, hot little duck like Hitachi looks a stable machine. I totally agree. Dan Cullen is saying hot as well. Gary Muirhead, tidy wee duck. That's not your pet name for your wife, is it? Tidy wee duck. Great for view from all around inside the cab. Yeah, totally agree. Why is the side view optional? So to charge for that extra, ridiculous. Hitachi should be in the machine. Not sure what that was all about. Just going to go over to this one. Cab looks small if you're a big man or woman with long legs. Again, 9-ton machine. What are you going to do? Now, I do need to address a couple of these, and I'm going to do this one from our friend Mick first. Maybe out the game regarding machines, but the way you're praising the younger folk at JCB is not a bad thing. No doubt other manufacturers are doing the same. Wow. Will make life much easier for any future buyer if the sales team know what they're on about. Okay, so I've already had this conversation with Al Grierson offline today. Online, but not on the show. Offline-ish. That is not the case. We did an interview on, well, this one stands out because it was exceptionally bad. We were actually paid to go and do an interview on one of the new machines that was shown at Plantworks last year. We arrived, introduced ourselves, set up the camera, and said, okay, who's going to take us through it? So while my son was setting audio levels and getting his camera angles right, I was chatting to the guy. I said, how long have you been with Kubota? And he said, about a week. He'd never seen the machine before. Yeah. So, no, that's not universal. I mean, obviously, there are some very good people out there, including at Kubota, but I did feel very sorry for the guy that was thrust into the limelight in that way. Let's have a look. Who else have we got? This one is I'm going to turn this one around in just a second. Entry and exiting the machine is becoming a problem as I get older, as my knees are giving me jip. I know the feeling. Guaranteed to get an operator a bollocking if the step has been left full of crap. Now, okay, so I realise that the design of undercarriages and steps is pretty much universal. I think we've kind of arrived at a situation that manufacturers at least are happy with. But given all your experience, your combined experience, which I would imagine, if we take everybody into account, it runs into hundreds of years and hundreds of machines. I'll come back to you, Dan. Given all your experience, is there a machine or is there a manufacturer out there that is doing right by you with the step? Is anybody doing it really well? Is there something that other manufacturers should be looking at and saying, yes, that's the way forward? And you're right, Dan, I have been forgetting the mystery machine. That's what you've got so far. And I'll tell you what, I'll do you a double dose. There's what we started with. There's another bit. And I'll tell you what, I'll throw in another bit as well. In fact, there you are. That's what you've got to work with. Now, I have to tell you, as I've said already, this is a very specific machine. I need a very specific model number to go with it. If anybody's got any ideas, thank you for the reminder on that, Dan, because I've completely gone all caught up in the chat. Jim Turner says, I think the company's employees need to be enthusiasts of plant, not just people that see it as a job. One of the things that stood out for me with Georgina, with Ollie, who I've written about today, is the fact that they were involved in the machine from a very, very early age. Early age makes it sound like they were kidnapped from school. That's not what I mean. You know that thing that some families do when they've got children that won't eat their vegetables, so they actually grow vegetables so that the child can see them growing and they get to dig them up and then they get to eat them. JCB have got that down to a fine art. One that sticks out for me was a guy called Tom Shipton, who will be on the show probably later this week. He's came as an engineering graduate, and he was thrust. Basically, he was given the responsibility of working on the 370X when it was literally, as I said in the article, it was a twinkle in the eye of Lord Bamford. And he saw it literally through a drawing on a piece of paper, through development and testing and then delivery of that final machine. That machine, he actually says in the interview, it weighs 37 tons, but it's very much his baby. I think there's a lot to be said for that. I really do. There you are, Footy saying exactly the same thing as our friend Chris. I tell you what, let me put me on the screen a little bit. There we are. When you've had knee surgery, it's hard to get into the machine without the step. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Mick Saunders says, always had an old trenching tool in the cab. When I get out, the first thing was cleaning the step for no other reason than it was drummed into me. Yeah, absolutely right. Not all manufacturers, all manufacturers are not interested in the step problem. Yeah, it is a very interesting thing when you see some of the bigger machines like the mining machines and like the jumbo that we featured here from Despe a few months back. Obviously, it's got a dedicated step that sort of lowers down at the back. You're not going to put one of those on a 9-ton machine or possibly even a 37-ton machine. But there's got to be a better way. We shouldn't have people missing the step and falling, because frankly, falling from that height, you could do yourself a lot of damage. I have known people that have died falling off of excavators because they had the misfortune of landing on their head. So yeah, it is an issue. I wonder if there's manufacturers out there that are actually paying attention to that. I can tell you the mystery machine is not. That would be way too obvious, even for me, Dan. Jim Turner says the 140X series steps are too far in, very tight to dig out, very robustly made, but useless, he says. Mick Norton is in the house. Morning, Mick. We're talking about steps. But he's already caught on. The step Japanese track dumpers are a nightmare, says Mick. See, as an issue, doesn't it? We've spent all of this time and all of this R&D money developing machines that can run on a thimbleful of clean fuel, and they emit no smoke, and the cabs are luxurious, and they have Bluetooth and sat-nav and all of the things. They've got fancy computer systems. Getting in and out of them is a bloody nightmare. Anybody got any thoughts on that? Please let me know. My day is spoiled. I'm not going to win the mystery machine today. I will recount the guesses a bit later on, but I can tell you we've already got a winner. Chris Ford has said mystery machine Komatsu PC215 HB. It is the hybrid machine, and I just to prove that myself and Chris are not conspiring to fool you all. Let me take that away so I can prove it. There you are. That's the machine in all its glory. Komatsu PC 215 or HB 215 LC actually, but Chris Ford absolutely on the money. There you are. Having problems listening to him because I'm hearing every other word. That's very, very strange. Well done, Chris, says Gary Muirhead. Yes, well done indeed. I was rather hoping for an early week victory, but apparently that's not going to happen. So let me take that away because we do have plenty more to be getting on with. Let's talk steps more at the end of the show, perhaps, if you're that way inclined. Let's talk about training young people. Let's talk about passion for construction equipment. Talk about whatever you like. It's an open shop. Knock yourselves out. Here we go. very quickly, going to say, Dan Cullens, congratulations, Chris. Well done on identifying today's mystery machine, which was that Komatsu hybrid. What's he saying? Can't beat a bit of luck. It was more than luck. You don't identify a machine by luck, I'm sure. Now, after all the excitement of 2 brand new excavators, it is time to kick back just a little bit. We're going to take a fly past of a Hughes and Salvidge demolition site, accompanied by some very nice music. Fancy that? Good. Yeah, Dan Cullen says that. Well, some money's worth of kit there. Yeah, they certainly weren't taking any prisoners. I think I counted 9 excavators on that. Nice bit of soothing music, though, I have to say. Needs a lot of coordination. Totally agree. Graham Footy Williams says, likely music choice. I got a nice beat to it. See, we aim to please on a Monday morning. Let's have a look. Blimey, did they have to grease him up too? Now, okay, I'm taking these out of order. Let me go back. Where are we? There we are. Mick Norton says, an old 360 operator mate of mine weighed 28 stone, big old boy, and access egress by steps was impossible. He had to use the bucket to construct his own access egress earth ramp to get in and out. It shouldn't be like that. That is not the way it's supposed to be. And there is Jim Turner responding to that. Blimey, did he have to grease himself up too? You're 28 stone, quite a bit to get through the door of a cab, I would have thought. Mick Norton saying, was that Mongolian warbling on the last clip? Not as far as I know. I didn't check. Didn't think I'd need to, but not as far as I know. But yeah, very, very nice sound. Now, you may have spotted, when I get to the right place, you may have spotted that I'm wearing a Wacker shirt today. It's purely coincidental, but we're going to be back with Wacker in just a moment.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
Although I try my best to appear professional and in control, I never really know which way I'm going, which is probably why I like the machine you're about to see. This dumper from the fine folks at Wacker Neuson Dual View, bit like myself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Put that in the right application on a narrow carriageway, perhaps, where you can't actually turn around. That machine is about as hot as it gets, I think, and I know a few people have enjoyed that as well. And yet, we've probably got something even hotter coming down the tubes literally as we speak, right after this. Yeah, we met up with Sandra over at Volvo Construction Equipment at the pre-Intermat press days in Paris last month. Although they were as helpful and as welcoming as always, they were still playing their cards pretty close to their chests when discussing what they will have on show when the exhibition rolls around just next month now. So I'm really hoping that this is among their exhibits. Yeah, I'm liking with that. I'd like to get to see that up close and personal. I'm not sure if Al Grierson is here. He probably isn't. He's probably marking papers at the moment. But Al is off to see the fine folks at Volvo in the not too distant future. Al, if you're listening, if you see that, aim a camera at it, would you? I'd like to see that up close and personal. We're going to say good morning to Garvin over at Mostly Diggers, who has just joined us. That pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show, but I do think we have lots and lots to discuss. So I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around, then please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues, because all of that is very important. I hope to see you again very soon, ideally tomorrow. That would be good. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll be back with the Craic immediately after this final word from our key show sponsor. Now, I'm going to try the music. Is anybody hearing any music in the background? I'm going to turn it down just in case. I can't hear a damn thing. I don't know what's going on with that. If anybody can hear music, please let me know. If you can't. No, I've got nothing at all. If anybody can hear the music, please let me know. But if you can't, I'll have to go and whack it with a big hammer or something. Let me go back to the very beginning of the chat, shall we? In actual fact, let's go back beyond the beginning of the chat, because there is Dan Cullen, who was here at 9:57, 3 minutes before the show started. Good morning, Mark. How was the weekend? Weekend was very good, but very short, unfortunately. Let me see if anybody else here can hear the music. Yes, apparently people can hear the music. It's just me that can't. That's really strange. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me have a very quick look at this. That's the wrong button. That's the one I want. Let me just configure that. Let me just see if I can do anything about it. Not seeing it there at all. That is so strange. So strange. Don't know what's going on there, but I'm glad you can all hear the music. I am going to say very quick good morning to Melvin Cross, who is here. Melvin Cross of Total Reclaims, who did a fantastic job on that chimney demolition last week. So thank you very much indeed for being here, Melvin, and congratulations on a job well done. And yes, people can hear the music. It's coming through loud and clear, apparently. It's actually called Monkey Trap, but you're close. It is monkeypox. And there's Melvin Cross saying good morning. Right, okay, back to where we were. Where were we? We were here. People saying good morning. There's Dan Cullen saying officially good morning. That's when the show really started. There's Mark Whiting. Morning, Mark. Gary Muirhead. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, everyone. Did anyone on the WhatsApp group see the gift that Gary got last week? His company has just taken delivery of a new Volvo excavator, and those fine folks at SMTGB sent Gary a goodie box. Really, really good. Really, I mean, obviously well deserved because we all love Gary, but a really, really nice touch. Class act to SMTGB. Here's me tipping my hat. We've been saying nice things about Hitachi and JCB today, but hats off to SMTGB for taking care of the operators. I fully support your work there. There's Footy saying good morning. Glenn Johnson saying good morning. Chris Ford saying good morning. Here we go. Yes, here we go. More of whatever the hell this is. Ken Hatcher has got weather. People saying the mic was off. Sounds being weird today. Don't know what's going on. Chris Ford sums up the show. There you are. Lights, camera, action, no sound. Probably better that way. There's Glenn Johnson saying all good now. Jim Turner saying good morning. Peeps, Chris Ford. Monday morning gremlins. It's a weird one. I did a check on it earlier, about 9:30, and there was something actually wrong with the audio. Went away, fixed it, came back, and it was absolutely fine until I pressed the go live button, and all of a sudden I can't hear the music, and I don't know why that is. I'm sure there's something going on, but I don't know what the hell it is. There's our friend Mick is in the house. There's Dan Carl saying, good morning, Graham, Jim, Chris, Gary, and all the rest of you. Busy weekend, but now back at work for a rest. Feels like that. Yeah. We had a bit of a family, not a do. We went out for Sunday lunch yesterday afternoon, but the morning was spent running around. Saturday spent running around. Don't seem to come up for air very much. There is the link, should you so desire. That's the link to my article about the fine folks, or the young folks, should I say, at JCB. I have seen the future, and it features Georgina Williams, Ollie Sands, and Tom Shipton. It features them by name, but there will be a lot more than just them at JCB. So it is dedicated to all of their young folks and what a fine job they're doing. Now, our question of the day was that: what movie prop would you most like to own? We were talking about this indoors last night, and we had a couple of favourites. My son Fred quite fancied himself a lightsaber from Star Wars, obviously, and then had a bit of a rethink and decided he'd quite like the Wilson basketball from Castaway, starring Tom Hanks, which I'm sure you all remember. Personally, my personal belief is that Jaws is the greatest movie ever made. If anybody remembers, Quint, the shark fisherman, wears a very, very battered, very, very old baseball cap in the movie. I'd quite like that. I'd quite like Quint's baseball cap. Not sure it's likely I'm going to get it, but you can live in hope. Ken Hatcher. His answer to our question of the day: he'd like the TARDIS. Yeah, small on the outside, huge on the inside. Wouldn't that be if you could jam one of those into, or use that as the cab of a machine? Pokey outside and then acres of space indoors. That would be fantastic. Yeah, good call, Ken. Lots of guesses for our mystery machine. And people being very sensible. Now, I'm just going back to the prop. I did actually have a rethink. I did quite like the idea of Quint's hat from Jaws, but the Aston Martin DB5 from the early James Bond movies, I wouldn't say no to that. That would be quite nice. Footy, who obviously, as we all know, is a biker fan, says the Harley Davidson from Easy Rider. Good shout. Yeah, absolutely. Not just a Harley, but an iconic Harley as well. Our friend Wolfwelder over in the States, Han Solo's blaster. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, absolutely right. I'm not sure he counts as a prop. Animal from the Muppets with his drum set, says our friend Mick. A big fan of Animal. And does anybody notice that he looks exactly like Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters? Or is that just me? Gary Muirhead sticking with the props and the car theme. Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. What was Eleanor? What was Eleanor? I can't remember. I've seen the film, but I can't remember what the car was. There's Gary Muirhead talking about the 370X. Where will they be built? As far as I know, they're going to be built up in Stoke, Uttoxeter, Staffordshire way. I can't actually. I don't think I asked the question, but they do have a heavy equipment plant up there, which I think is where they build, obviously, their heavier equipment. So don't know the answer to that, but I would guess it would be there. And then Footy basically sparked an entire conversation talking about JCB had done a fantastic job on the top half, the upper half of their machine, but he has issues with maintaining 3 points of contact and getting on and off machines. And it turns out that's a universal complaint or gripe. If anybody's got anything to add to that, love to hear from you. Dan Cullen pointed out, yes, the new JCB 370X does have an 8.9 litre Cummins diesel engine, stage 5 compliant, obviously, but yes, plenty of grunt in there, plenty of grunt, and it does actually feed into a new Kawasaki hydraulic pump. So yeah, oodles and oodles of oomph, grunt, call it what you will, but there's lots of it. Dan Cullen put me on that, and I'll push it to the boundaries. JCB, if you're watching, there's an Irish person here would like to go and take your 370X for a spin. Dan, meet JCB. JCB, meet Dan. Then talk amongst yourselves. Let's have a look. Dan Cullen is saying that is hot. Adrian Rogers is saying that it is hot. Good morning to Adrian. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Chris Ford, who was lucky enough to actually get up to JCB. Well, I said get up to JCB. He basically popped up the road to JCB because that's the part of the world that he lives in. But hot from personal experience, he says. All joking aside, Chris, what did you make of it? I mean, obviously, you said it's hot, but were you impressed? I have to say I was, but my opinion counts for nothing, basically, because I'm not an operator. But I was very impressed. It looked like they'd done their homework. That looked like two impressions I came away with. Looked like they'd done their homework. So, lots and lots of nice gizmos and gadgets, JCB UX operating system, and all the other bits and pieces. But the other thing that really struck me, and I did mention it in the film that we did last week, it didn't look like an uprated 30-tonner. It looked like a 37-tonner. It was beefy, particularly the front end. That you can actually get it with a heavy-duty bucket. I can't remember the size of it off the top of my head, but you can get it with a heavy-duty bucket plus the front end of the machine. Proper beef. Yeah, it would really take a bit of abuse. Not that I suggest you do that, but very, very impressed. Footy, back on the step situation. Step full of crap, and you slide off every time you put your foot on it. Yeah. It is true. And I did open it up, and maybe there's some more answers when we go through. Is there a manufacturer out there that is doing the step thing right? And bizarrely, now, I'm not suggesting this is actually a solution, but when you think you've got people like Larini have done these, Volvo have got an option as well, and I'm sure some of the other manufacturers do as well, where you've got like a hydraulic lift for getting disabled people in and out of the cab. Now, obviously, that's going to put a big lump on the cost of the machine, so that's not necessarily an answer. But they are aware of limitations of entry and egress, as people have described it. What about the everyday machine? And I'm not talking about mini excavators. Most of us can clamber up into a sort of 8, 9, 10 tonner without too much trouble. But once you get up to those bigger machines where you've literally got the step out of the cab, another step, and then you're on the ground, you kind of need to be doing something. And as it stands at the moment, as I think everybody has agreed, now that's not the case. It's not being done. Jim Turner, again, another issue that you don't know until you probably spend a lot of time in the machine or getting in and out of the machine. The X Series cab is nice. I agree. Bit tight for legroom in the 140 though, but the absolute pain in the X Series is the button paddle that pumps the seat up and down. Sticks out way too far, and I'm sick of catching the back of my legs on it, accidentally lowering the seat down. Oddly enough, I used to have an office chair. It was exactly the same. Caught it with the back of my left leg every time I turned around and went to go somewhere. Lowered the chair, and you have to reset the damn thing. Absolute nuisance. There is the link to my article, but as I say, if you're in our WhatsApp group, you don't need to worry about the link because you can find it there. Failing that, if you can't be asked to take it down and you're not a member of our WhatsApp group, just go and find me over on LinkedIn. You'll find the article there. It's Is it going down well? I believe it probably is. Where are we? Yeah, 840 people have had a look at that so far. That's not bad for this time of the morning. It's only been live for an hour or thereabouts, something like that. So yeah, we're doing okay, not doing too badly. Tractors, diggers, machinery just joined us over on Instagram. Good morning to you. Don't know where you are in the world, but thank you for being here. Jim Turner, slightly underwhelmed with the 370X. The 370 is about standard as machines go, so tepid unless it performs outstandingly, and I can only tell that from behind the levers. Get yourself along. Get yourself along to Hillhead, or get yourself along to the factory. That's not a million miles away from you. I'll put in a good word for you. More than happy to do that. But yeah, get along, have a go. Let us know what you think. As I say, Chris Ford has done precisely that, and he's still impressed. So that's a good sign. Handy sized duck. That was the HX95W from the fine folks at Hitachi. Footy says, I like ducks. They're easy to get into. Like to jump on one again soon if there's any work down this way. That is, yeah, I understand you're struggling for work. As soon as the show is over, Footy, I am going to make a couple of phone calls. I've already sent a couple of emails to people that are down your part of the world to see if I can G something up a little bit. But watch this space. I will be reaching out a little bit when I get the opportunity. Who we got there? Dan Cullen. Lovely little machine with two-piece boom. Very beneficial, yeah, I have to say. Listen, I know it's part of the script, but I have to say there are certain things that you look at. You know, if Caterpillar decide to launch a new dozer, big news. If Liebherr decide to launch a new mining truck, big news. If Hitachi launch an excavator of any kind, big news. I will sit up and take notice all day long. Yeah, there we are. There's our friend Mick saying, I may be out of the game regarding machines, but the way you're praising the younger folk at JCB is not a bad thing. No doubt other manufacturers are doing the same, hopefully. Not universally, I'm afraid, will make life much easier for any future buyer if the sales team know what they're on about. I've mentioned this before, and I've actually done I think I filmed a video about it, actually. When was the last time you were sold a machine? I bet most of you can't even remember. I've not been sold, my equivalent would be a car. I haven't been sold a car in probably 25 years. You buy them, but you very, very rarely sold them. And as somebody that does buy stuff, me and you, that thing that you get, have you ever been on an exhibition stand and you say to somebody, oh, you know, that looks very smart. How much is it? Oh, I'll need to check. Okay, fine. You know, what size engine has it got? Let me just have a look at the spec sheet. How deep does it dig? I'll check with my boss. Anybody else find that really, really, really frustrating? You've got one job as a plant salesman, to sell plants. Surely you should be interested enough to know exactly what that machine does, doesn't do, how it works, and everything else. Surely that is a prerequisite. Imagine saying to Cristiano Ronaldo, could you kick that ball? What do you mean you need to check with your manager? Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. And unfortunately, despite what Mick has said there, it's not universal. It really isn't. We come across lots and lots of people that really, really don't know their machines as well as they should do. Dan Cullen back on the HX95. Cab looks small if you're a big man or a woman with long legs. Indeed. Chris Ford back on the cab thing and the step thing. Entry and exiting machine can be is becoming a problem as I get older, as my knees are giving me jip. Yes, jip. my entire body is wrought with jip. Guaranteed to get an operator a bollocking if the step has been left full of crap. You'd think, wouldn't you? You'd think that maybe by now we'd have come up with something where it didn't get full of crap. As I say, we are smart enough as an industry to have created machines that can operate either via remote control or autonomously, but we haven't yet fashioned self-cleaning steps. Somebody think maybe we've got our priorities just a little bit skewed. Love to hear from you. Why Why is side view optional? Ridiculous. Hitachi should be in the machine. Tidy wee duck. Lots of people are enjoying the wee Hitachi there. Yeah. I think the company's employees need to be enthusiasts of plant, not just people that see it as a job. I've never worked for a plant company, so I've not seen it from that side, but it used to frustrate the life out of me. Back when I was on Contract Journal and Plant Manager's Journal, we took on a number of generally quite young reporters over the years, male and female, and you could tell literally from a week in that they are literally seeing this as purely a stepping stone onto a newspaper or a career elsewhere. No enthusiasm for the subject, no real passion for it at all. It's just, well, I'll write about diggers this week and I'll write about flower arranging the week after that, and then I'll write about stamp collecting the week after that, which would be a really strange career path for anybody, but that was always the case. My apologies for the screwing up the picture of the day. I don't know. I've got reminders on the screen. Having screwed up the sound at the early doors, threw me completely, forgot to feature it, but we got there in the end, and Chris Phil got it right. When you've had knee surgery, it's hard to get into the machine without a step. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure it is. Mick says, always had an old trenching tool in the cab. When I got out first thing was cleaning the step for no other reason than it was drummed into me. Is that still drummed into operators? You know how we talk about pre-start checks and knocking out your filters and stuff like that. Is that still, do people still tell you that? Is that part of the CITB training? Is that part of CSCS, knocking CPCS, NDTG training? Do they tell you to clean your steps? Do they? Bet they don't. All manufacturers are not interested in the step problem. Manufacturers of the world, listen. We have operators here who are not happy. They love your machines. They love all the fancy stuff you can do with the machines, but they want to be able to get in and out without causing harm to themselves or anybody else. People, please pay attention. The 140X series steps are too far in and very tight to dig out. Very robustly made, but useless, says our friend Jim. There's Mick Norton joining us. Good morning to you. It would be nice to see the pictures without comments going across the screen, as I can't see the pictures. My apologies, Footy. I wasn't doing very well this morning. I woke up feeling all bullish and positive and upbeat 30 seconds into the show, and it all started to fall apart. I'll be better tomorrow. You have my word. More guesses on our mystery machine. Mick Norton says the steps on Japanese track dumpers are a nightmare. That sounds like that comes from personal experience. Mystery machine. There is the winner. Chris Ford said it was the Komatsu PC. It's actually the HB215, I think. Is that what they call it? The HB15, HB215 LC. But you got the right machine. Well done. There's our friend Mick Norton, an old 360 operator of mine, mate of mine rather, weighed 28 stone. Access egress by steps was impossible. He had to use the bucket to construct his own access egress earth ramp to get in and out. Manufacturers of excavators, please pay attention. You should, bearing in mind what that means, it means that the machine is almost impossible to get into, but the 28 stone operator has somehow managed to drag himself up onto the machine and then has to build himself a ramp to get back out of it and hopefully to get back into it after a break. It's not right. I mean, hell, even from just a pure health and safety standpoint. I mean, I've grazed shins on steps getting off of machines, and trust me, it hurts like a bastard. It really does. But I'd much rather have that than actually miss the step entirely and fall and whack my head on the ground. It's an interesting subject, and it needs to be addressed. There is, we were talking about Hughes and Salvidge, some money's worth of kit there. Yeah, absolutely. Footy was enjoying the music. Needs a lot of coordination there. Yeah, absolutely right. We don't know whether that was Mongolian warbling on the last clip. It may have been. I liked it, whatever it was. Let's have a look. Great little dumper, says our friend Dan, but he reckons that the Wacker Dual View dumper, very uncomfortable. Now, I took that for a spin in Germany 6 months ago, I suppose. Not a problem in terms of comfort, but again, I'm not an operator, and I was on it for about 10 minutes. Can't really tell a lot from 10 minutes, can you? Looks a nice compact dumper, says our friend Jim. Chris Ford, here's a blast from the past. Dual View. Muirhill had that on dumper 65 years ago. It's nice that it's come around again. Much more comfortable now. Yes, 65 years ago, if you were lucky, you probably had a bench made of wood, quite possibly. Footy is still looking for work, sat at home. How crazy is that? You know, you got a perfectly competent, experienced operator, and he sat there twiddling his thumbs in the middle of a skill shortage. Construction industry, do your homework. You know, if anybody is watching this and you're looking for an operator, particularly down the southwest of England, please get in touch, and I'll put you in direct contact with our friend Footy, and we'll get him hooked up. How about that? People are hearing the monkey tennis music. Thank you very much. It is the monkey tennis music. And there is Melvin Cross. Good morning to Melvin. I don't know if he's still here, but I'm going to go back very, very quickly on Melvin. As I say, Total Reclaims. We did show you the film last week, but Total Reclaims, together with their, I guess, their consulting partners, C&D Consultancy. Fantastic blast last week. I don't know how close anyone was watching, but they'd actually built a bund to basically take the impact of the chimney when it hit the ground, and the chimney hit it spot on. It was like guided by laser. Couldn't have done it better if they'd tried. It's an awesome job. Chris Ford, monkeypox. Yes, it was monkeypox, and there is Melvin again. Mick Norton says steps HSE analysis indicates that 57 out of 400 incidents analysed were from stepping off a dumper and included fractures and head wounds among the injuries sustained. This is I know we've touched on this before, but that is a serious issue. Serious issue. Head wounds, fractures. This is not an inconvenience we're talking about here. We're actually talking about physical injury. Manufacturers of the world, please pay attention. Chris Ford. I don't know whether the joke landed last week, but I'm going to try it again. Morning, Mel. Best blowjob last week. I'm really pleased that Chris has got some to choose from. That's all I can say. Apparently, it is raining in Northamptonshire. And we're back on steps again. Mick Norton again. Steps during the loading of the dumper skip, the operator will, in most cases, need to leave the operator station and move to a safe place away from the machine. Continually ascending and descending to and from the operator station during the working day can lead to operator fatigue and tiredness. This increases the likelihood of slips, trips and falls where handholds on firm footing can be missed or be inadequate. The effect of fatigue can be increasingly environmental conditions such as hot. Don't know where that goes after that, but it is a proper issue. Dan Collins says he would like the Aston Martin from the old James Bond movies. Yes, I would very much like Sean Connery's. He was a DB. Was he a DB5? Was he a DB4? Anybody can remember? Let me know. Question of the day. The Tiger tank from Kelly's Heroes. Not seen that movie in years, but it's a belter. There's a bit of a machine theme here. The Cat D7 dozer from John Wayne's film Firefighters. Yes, I remember that well. No cab on it, if I remember rightly. Dan Cullen says, will JC Balls be buying a 370X? Who knows, but I wouldn't be at all surprised. Mark Whiting, wasn't Eleanor a Shelby GT 500 mark? I don't know, but it could well be. Mick is leaving. Stay safe. Have a good one. You too, my friend. If JCB get in touch with you, Mark, please pass them my details. I'd love to get on, go and put that 370 through its test. I will be speaking to them at some point, Dan. I'll put in a good work. Now, here's a point. Gary Muirhead, my new Volvo 140 has 3 steps each side, And is that better? Gary, is that better? Are you finding that better? I'd love to hear from you. Question 8. The Iron Maiden from the film of the same name. Don't remember that. Don't remember the name at all. I have to go and look that one up. If you want to encounter difficult access egress with steps, try the old TS14 and Cat 621 motorized scrapers with their steps constructed of steel, wire, rope. Yeah, do you know, I do actually remember a few machines where they were, I don't know what that is, but where the steps were not steps, they were more like a rope ladder. It was a steel rope, but it was a rope ladder, and they sort of waved, not quite waved in the wind, but when you stepped on them, you did get that trapeze motion. There's another one to put on your list when you go to France. Steps again. Yes, I'm going to go and talk to people about steps. It's a weird thing to talk about, but it is clearly an issue. Things out of all the crap. What gets underneath? Okay, Mick Norton struggled with a salesman at a local garden centre yesterday. I asked him, have you got any borage seeds? His answer, what's that? I lost the will to live, moved on to another clown who was also none the wiser. Now, my guess would probably be borage seeds would be seeds for the borage plant. Borage, yes. Possibly the only thing that rhymes with porridge. I stand to be corrected. Operator novices are told to use 3 points of contact on access egress, but often cleanliness of steps is often ignored by the instructors. Yeah, and again, this is one of those issues. I think this is one of those issues that would be very, very apparent if the training were taking place in the field, particularly if it was a muddy field, you know, out in the wild, where machines are actually dirty, they're not spotlessly clean, and they are not in a classroom. All you would need to do is just say, look, there's crap on that. That's an easy slip hazard, that. But you can't do that necessarily if you're doing it from a classroom. Another shortcoming of the training regime. I know 2 360 operators with prosthetic limbs who clamber in and out of a wide range of kit with little bother, says Mick Norton. Haven't seen Peter McKenna in the show today, but if he is here, let me know. Let me know. How do you get by? Because as we all know, well, as most of us know, I think Peter is a one-legged man. He does have a prosthetic other leg. He has his spare. I'd love to know how he gets on. Would you like to put the JCB 370X through its paces? Oh, Chris Roll says, would like to put the JCB 370X through its paces on site in the real world before making a full comment. I run a 220X series, which have been reasonably reliable, apart from 1 or 2 software issues. I don't know what exposure you got while you were up there, Chris, but I know, and we will be showing you this when I play you the film featuring Tom Shipton from JCB. They made they were very, very good at reinforcing a number of points. Obviously, talking about the Cummins engine, the Kawasaki pump, the amount of additional steel that's been putting into it, the JCB UX operating system, and everything else. But there was a thing that they mentioned time and time and time again, and that was testing. I know purely because it stuck out in my head. They actually sent one of those prototype 370Xs to Croatia to work in the mountains where it was nice and cold, so they could test it there. But it wasn't just cold; it was hard rock, quite possibly granite. So they really did put it through its paces. I'd like to think that JCB are confident that it will survive the hardest of work environments. Let's face it, the 370X is ideally destined for maybe quarries, maybe demolition combination. So it's going to need to be tough. Indeed. Melvin Cross saying good morning. Dan Cullen says Eleanor was a Ford Mustang GT500. Thank you very much. Chris Ford says, talking about getting in machines, I've got a 55-year-old JCB. I can't remember struggling to get in when I was younger. Nowadays, I find it nearly impossible. Yeah, well, Chris, you are talking to a person that grunts and groans getting in and out of an armchair. So I feel your pain. Footy says, I had knee surgery on my knee, best place to have it, and I struggled. Plus, I've had an operation on my arm when I broke my elbow. My left arm is 6 inches shorter than my right arm, so I struggle. Broke my hand, got a metal plate in it, so I'm walking wounded at the moment. So I struggle to get in the bigger machines. again, you know, there are options out there. You know, we have wheelchair lifts, but could we do better than a wheelchair lift? Even if it was just a platform that just popped up and dropped you in your seat, would that not be a better idea? It's only a bit of hydraulics. We're not talking tens of thousands of pounds here, surely. And, you know, if that means that people like our friend Footy, people like Peter McKenna can get in and out of machines that much easier, even Chris Ford, who is able-bodied completely, would that not be a good thing? I think we need to discuss this further, people, but I think that will do us for today because my nose is very itchy. Nobody has ever stopped a TV show for having an itchy nose, but I have that luxury. So we're nearly an hour and 14 minutes in. That will do us for Monday. I do need to go and sort out my sound because I sound very strange doing the after show chat without being able to hear music. So I'm going to go and sort that out in the background. I'll be back here again tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the Breakfast Show. If you would care to go and read my article talking about the young people working at JCB, please let us have your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Till then, everybody, have a fantastic day. I'll see you all very, very soon. All the best.